Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver now.
Hey, Road Rooter followers, how's it going? Hope you're enjoying yourself in your neck of the woods today. I am Josh Lake, and I'm here today with Bix Weir, and none other than Mr. Perpetual Assets himself, a great friend and a guy who I would like to call family, Mr. Will Lehr. How are you guys doing today?
We're good. We're in our, this isn't real. It's a fake bunker, but we're going to talk about bunker stuff. So, I mean, I couldn't think of anybody I'd rather be in a bunker with than my friend Will.
Yeah, Josh, if we could somehow just move you into the little bunker here with us.
Exactly, right there.
Would be great.
I'd be happy there. But yeah, you guys are coming.
Big, it's roomy in here. We could fit Bix's guitar, maybe a bongo.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
A bongo or a bongo? A bongo is what he said.
Both.
Maybe both, probably. We're trying to be prepared.
We're in a hidden location, so we had to hide it with a backdrop.
Yeah, hidden location. I know it's great that you guys are hanging out. I'm jealous. I'm not there, but I'm glad you guys are enjoying each other's company. But yeah, today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about a topic that we cover a little bit here on the Road to Ruta from time to time, which is emergency preparedness. And, you know, the whole reason why I wanted to talk about it is because it's very much in line with the Road to Ruta theory, you know, this coming transition that we're going to go through, the financial transition, you know, anything could really happen. And so we need to be prepared for anything. And so I think there's a lot of people who are just now joining us on the Road to Ruta, who are just now entering this prepper space, or even people who have been in the prepper space for a long time who can still learn a thing or two. And so that's why I wanted to talk to you guys about it, because the two of you have been huge inspirations and educational resources for me when I started to adopt the prepper mindset, shortly following just learning about the Road to Ruta theory, learning about this coming transition that we're probably definitely going to be going through soon. And so I want to talk to you guys a little bit more about it because you're the ones who taught me. So first of all, you know, I'm new to the space. I've only been in it a couple of years, but I'm sure you guys have been in it quite longer. And so I wanted to ask you guys, you know, how long have you been in the prepper space, as you'd say?
I keep disappearing. Well, I can start. I've been prepping for so long that my prepper food from Y2K has gone bad. And we threw it away, the vast majority of it. I think there's a couple of things that is so dry that it can't go bad. But yeah, but you know, do I regret investing all this prepper stuff in the late 90s when Y2K was coming? Do I regret, you know, right before 2008, I redid my prepper stuff? No, I don't regret it at all. The reason you do this stuff is that you hope and pray you never have to use it. And I think that's, you know, the same thing goes with the guns and armaments that you have. It's for protection in the worst case scenario. And that's the peace of mind I have because I have prepper stuff. I know I'm prepared to last a few months if necessary. That peace of mind is, you can't calculate a cost to that, especially if something happens. So I'm in Will's prepper bunker right now, and it kind of looks like what's behind me. Not exactly, but kind of. So yeah, that's how long I've been doing it. How about you, Will?
Well, as a young adult, it started when I was red pilled. I mean, you know, when I was, well, let's see, I was 30. So this was about 11, 12 years ago. My son was just born. I had an infant at home, and I saw a meme on Facebook of Building 7 in free fall. And the thing said, were you aware this building also collapsed on 9/11 and it wasn't hit by a plane and it was however many blocks away? And I was like, what? That was it for me. And then you go down the rabbit hole and you realize so much of what we've been told is a lie, and there's so much, you know, frailness to the system, to the supply chain, to everything, right? And then but I really think it started before that with my dad. I remember my dad was an old prepper. Kind of. He was an old gold bug, you know. I remember huge burlap sacks of pennies that he would get.
Copper.
And they were 81, I think was the year. So if it was pre-81, it was full copper or whatever. I think it was 100% copper. And then if it was after 81, it was, crap alloys or whatever. So, and so he was child labor. I'd be in there in his, in the bedroom or whatever and sorting these huge sacks of, anyway, I think that was my intro to prepping, penny sorting in the mid 80s.
My grandfather, my mom's dad had a kind of like a diner in San Francisco, and he was saving the silver change back from the 60s. Pre-65 coinage was 90% silver. So he started that early as soon as they stopped making silver coins, he started collecting those, and a lot of change would go through his business. So he'd always check.
Yeah.
And then by the end, he had literally boxes and boxes of silver coins.
That's awesome.
As an old man, and he understood silver. He understood the devaluation of the currency that was coming. As soon as we went off the silver coin standard in 65, and then we went off the gold standard in 71, August of 71. I mean, there's only one reason to do that. It's got nothing to do with gold and nothing to do with silver. It has everything to do with the ability to print money with no restraints. And that's clearly what's going on with our government now. From the Roto-Rooter standpoint, we love it. That means the end is coming sooner for fiat money. And it's all part of the plan, is to print money, create money to infinity, destroy the entire system, and then go back to something sound. For example, a gold a gold currency where you can actually go into a bank and cash it in. I don't think it'll be a bank. It'll be probably a government-owned bank, because all these banks are insolvent anyway.
Right.
So definitely
exchange house.
Well, I think they're going to use the post office boxes. You got these post office, highly secure type of federally owned institution that can delve out the money. They've got the bulletproof glass in the post office now, and it's just the perfect avenue. So we'll find out, but I think we are so close to being there. And the best part is, so many people are making their preparations.
Yes.
For whatever, for food and investments and money and water and protection. And, the number one resources is friends and family around you that you can all hunker down together. And mostly it'll be our customers that are explaining to people what the hell is going on.
Yeah, that's true, man. Those of us that have been through this, whether it's been 20 some years or 10 years or 2 years or whatever, or 2 weeks, it's kind of like falling on us to show the way, show the light, whatever, to everybody else as they're awakening right now through this insanity. I mean, like, what's going on right now is so just like, pinch me, am I dreaming,
Absolutely.
On such a level that it's encouraging awakening, and that's a painful but good thing,
And your money can disappear just like I can disappear.
It's like Bix.
I definitely agree that it's, the initial awakening process is, especially depending on how fast you're being red pilled, is very uncomfortable and painful, and your whole paradigm is shifting and breaking. And for me, it was very overwhelming. And I luckily had
your friends and relatives hate you for a while.
Yeah, I mean, you don't even know how to communicate with these people to some degree when you're going through it. And when I was going through it, it was 2 years ago, right as COVID, this whole COVID thing, really, I was a little bit red pilled before that, but this whole thing really made me realize, like, oh wow, I need to have resources and my finances in line and things like that to prepare for this. And I spent a few weeks, like the first couple of weeks, and then months after, just really researching, moving money around, buying gear and items and things I never would have imagined buying just months before. Things like 30 like dry food and giant water tanks and protection, things that I never thought I'd own. And so for me, it was definitely hard. And Paige definitely was there to see me go through it, and I can say now, it impacted my mental health greatly. And so But luckily since then I've been able to stabilize, and now that I am prepared, I feel safer and like ready that if anything were to happen, at least I have like a bit to keep me going. And so, I wanted to ask you guys, when you first got red pilled and started to prepare yourselves and get the gear you needed, was it difficult mentally or emotionally?
Oof. My
just start out.
story sounds exactly like yours. I had a 2-3-month-old baby at home, and all of a sudden I go down the freaking rabbit hole, dark, deep, didn't shave, didn't leave the house, went down the bow. Back then you could Google stuff and it was like, holy, it was all there, videos. What was the Russo movie?
From Freedom to Fascism.
Yeah, I mean, all that stuff was like right there on Google. So it was very dark. It was dark. I mean, this was during Obama, early Obama days. So it was all like, holy crap, they're setting us up. Look what they're setting us up for. It was FEMA camps, and it was like, they're marching us into, I was living in Texas at the time, which felt really good. I moved out to San Diego, lived there for 7 years, have just recently since moved back to Central Texas, and holy crap, does it feel good to be back. I love San Diego, but there's just, number one, the city, number two, the
communism, socialism.
You're not gonna be able to, you gotta get close.
The prevailing, this says only you can prevent communism or socialism, the prevailing sentiment of socialism out there. And I think just as a liberty-minded person, it was brutal for, anyway. So getting out has been liberating for me and my nervous system. And now I'm surrounded by silver. Dude, everybody I talk to out here, okay? Whether it's my painter who's out there right now, whether it's the landscape architect guy, whether it's the hot tub guy yesterday, literally there's like, I must be attracting these people, but start chatting. The guy where I'm parking my RV, who owns the storage unit, it comes up and what do you do? And then cryptos end up coming up, or it generally ends up being cryptos. And then we start going down the rabbit hole, and these people are all red pilled to some degree,
Yeah. Totally.
They're like, you can pay me in silver if the dollar crashes mid job here. I'm like, great, get all the materials on site, because the supply chain broken already. Get all the wood here, stack it and then we just got to pay for labor, and we got silver coins, and
You see, prepping and hunkering down in a bunker doesn't have to be as rough as people put it out. Will's like, I got to get my hot tub in. Oh, rough life, Mr. Prepper. Just the bare minimums. My hot tub, he does have a bad back, so it is medicinal hot tub. A medicinal pool.
And I've got the generator hooked up to the 500 gallons of propane. Then the
500 gallons of propane.
So if the grid goes down, we got a lot of propane in Texas, baby. So I can keep my hot tub running all year round.
There's your prepper advice from Will Lehr, Perpetual Assets.
I'll be sniping from the hot tub.
Well, I would like to say, with your story, I first got red pilled in the 90s, believe that. And it was one of my banking jobs that got me into it. It was literally, I was put in charge of, I had just started with a company called GATX Corporation, a huge, they own like half the rail cars in the world, but they're large ticket equipment finance. And I was in charge of the back end, these big haulers and loaders that were mining coal and all kinds of commodities. So my job was to learn about commodities. And once you go down that rabbit hole, you find out, holy shit, there's people rigging the market. And so I went from understanding the rigging thing in the late 90s, getting in touch with the GATA guys, the Gold Anti-Trucks Action guys. And then probably a year after I got in touch with GATA, I was like, oh my God, the entire system is a fraud. And this is like probably in the year 2000. And everything, once you see behind the curtain at the guy pulling the strings, you're like, holy shit, this is bigger than you can even imagine. So being an active prepper for over 25 years, you learn a thing or two about, feeling calm that you've made enough preps. When you literally you expire your dried food, you got issues. That's a long time prepper.
Yeah.
And I think everybody especially people who started prepping in the 2008 timeframe, do a full check of all your stuff. Make sure your batteries have been switched out. Make sure your water's been swapped. I mean, water should only be sitting, what do they say, 6 months to a year that you need to, refresh that water out, get new water. And then always have the tablets of, the most important prepper thing that I have that 99.9% of the people do not have, a portable bidet.
I got to give credit. I think Erica came up with this during lockdown, during the toilet paper craze in March.
You don't need toilet paper with a portable bidet.
I was stocking we already had toilet paper. Eric, my wife's like, hey, let's just get a bidet. And
that's a real bidet. This is there's the cheap one, which you can use. There's a squirt bottle. I mean, it's like, go get yourself a Gatorade squirt bottle and there's your bidet. Now it's a little interesting on cleaning, but they have these fancy ones. Go to the Road to Ruta Amazon affiliates page. So go to roadtoruta.com affiliates and then click on Amazon. It's called a Blau, BLAUX. And it's a little tube like this that you carry with you on the road, and the top comes off, you fill it with water, it has a little wand that comes out, and you don't need toilet paper.
Portable bidet. You don't have to connect it to hot water, folks. No wiring required.
Nope.
Wow, I'm sold.
Save the planet too, right? With that, who needs it?
You can preload it with like a sea salt solution. So it's
true.
Like,
put some essential oils in there.
Essential oils.
In there.
Yeah, my ass needs essential oils.
Hey,
Amy's like, wow, where did we lose this prepper video?
Hey,
hello, prepper people.
These are the different avenues that you can go down in the realms of like, how can I prepare for whatever I'm preparing for? Yeah. The Berkey is like,
yes.
Oh,
really amazing. We have 2 of them, and then backup filters, and get a shitload of backup filters. And then it's like, all right, now I can drink rainwater, I can drink lake water, I can drink pee, I guess.
Hey, Josh, where does one get a Berkey?
We actually have an entire page on our affiliates page dedicated to Berkey. And so if you'd like to go check that out, this is a great place where you could get prepared for at least your water safety and health in an emergency situation. So thank you for bringing that up, Bix.
Click that, baby.
Well said.
No, but that partnership, if we just started this affiliates page, we just thought it was so important on so many different levels. You got to keep your head up or we can't see you.
Oh, nothing off. Sorry, Biden got a hold of me there. I'm just nodding off.
we've done so much research into the brands and the types of things we're going to need that, Josh and Paige had the idea, let's put an affiliate page up so that people can figure out, we've done all the research. We know why we bought a Berkey. We understand what's going on with the fluoride situation in water and how completely horrible it is for you and how important it is to have a Berkey. So, yes. And we get, I think we have discounts on Berkeys too. So go to roadtoruta.com affiliates and it's on the Berkey page. And you can see Paige and Josh made a professional style video on Berkey drinking. Water drinking. It's really good. So check that out.
That is a great discussion. Everyone should go check it out. And I agree that the Berkey is one of the water is one of the first things on the prepper list that you need. And so that's a really good one to have. I know you, Bix, I've seen your gigantic gallon, 10 gallon. How big are those tanks you have full of water? Like,
the blue ones.
So my blue tank, well, I thought I was cool with 5 55-gallon tanks. And then I come here and Will's got one tank of what? 150 Woo. Gallons just on one tank.
And it's sleep. It's not too like, I got to hook my gutter up to it. So
that's only in case he has to refill his hot tub.
That's just for the hot tub. Yeah. We'll starve before we mess with the hot tub.
Well, definitely water is one of the first big ones. Another one I'd definitely say is dry food. And, if you're even going further into the lifestyle, it's having your own garden and a place where you can grow food. And I know that's what, you guys had fixed. Both of you guys have awesome greenhouses. You guys have even had conversations where you've streamed from the greenhouse. And so I know you guys both understand that lifestyle. You guys are, Will, with your situation, are you looking to put a garden in or do you already have one set up?
Yeah, Will.
I don't have one set up yet, but I may do something with some neighbors where we like-minded neighbors, where my property is not as large as my surrounding neighbors, and I have, the hot tub. So
That takes about the yard.
so yeah, food product. I'm in a small town, and there's more deer than there are humans by like 10 or maybe even 100x. Like they're overpopulated. It's kind of an issue. But all of us have the same idea. Oh well, shit, it's the fan. We're just all going to eat the deer, and then the deer will probably outrun us. So we'll have to figure out the garden. Yeah, but no, I've been talking to a neighbor, and we might do something here. And
Better hurry. I mean, we're coming into winter now. And we just moved recently too, so we don't have a garden going right now, much of one. We got some, but
that's what the pantry's for. I got the seeds.
And you guys
buy seeds, buy a bunch. Buy seeds are like gold, or silver.
But remember, with the supply chain freezing up, there's no time like the present to order your stuff. Try to get only what they have in inventory. If they say, oh yeah, it'll be 6 weeks or 6 months. Start thinking, I don't think that'll ever show up, and find ways around that. For greenhouse type stuff, they have those portable ones that I had in my backyard. Will had more of a realistic one.
It was $100, $150, and it was awesome. It
was nice. Yeah. But at the Weir compound, we plan on putting a monster in. After being inside Cliff High's greenhouse, I'm gonna step that one up quite a bit.
Oh, I'm sure Cliff has something unbelievable.
It was a jungle. It's like a jungle, and it's all run off the grow lights and all that, because he lives in Washington, which you never get you sun.
Right.
It was beautiful. It was like being in a jungle. I loved it.
Yeah. And something that Cliff talks about that I think you're referring to now a little bit, Will, is when this kind of transition begins, we're going to need to have these, I think he calls them SOCs, or like the self-organizing collectives of people who you can trust, people who you can work with. And
Will had to run and defend his property. So
exactly. At least he's prepared for that.
He is.
I do think it's important.
His hot tub went down, so he's getting it fixed.
That's priority one above
absolutely
anything. But I think what I'm trying to say is that you need to have people you can trust, and building those relationships is important. Educating the people around you that you love and you care about, so that you have a plan.
Sorry, Amy's making noises during the video.
But she is one of the people that we can lean on and trust, and we know we would need in an emergency situation. And so having those conversations is tricky. If you want to go all the way down the red pilling conversation, that one's almost, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make them drink with those kinds of things. But you can bring it up in a way for, emergency preparedness that is just, logical. Like for me in San Diego, there's not a lot of natural disasters, but for people who live on the East Coast, or with the hurricanes, or people in the North with the snowstorms, there's like a level of understood preparedness that everyone has.
You have earthquake issues.
We do have earthquake issues, but that's something that people don't prepare for, not in San Diego very much. And so that is an example of when I talk about financial preparedness, or even just general protection. If there's an earthquake that comes into San Diego that, puts the grid out for a week, there's going to be a lot of people who in that week panic and get hungry and need, resort to drastic measures. And so, having the people around you that you can trust, that know what you're doing or know what the plan is, and having a plan. First of all, having a plan is big too. If you need to stay where you are, or if you got to get out of where you are, having those things ready to go, having your documents, having, whatever you need, your contacts, your phone numbers ready is very important. So, I'm sure you guys have pretty good plans if things were to go down, what you would do. I mean, Bix, you just got an RV. Like, you need to bug out. You're set. Well, you already have a sweet one too. So you guys are ready.
Yeah. What are you guys waiting on?
I know.
You're going to have to get yourselves an RV.
We got I installed a 220 hookup in the front of my garage. So if you guys have to, like us, what am I called? A refugee. We're medical refugees. We're really just straight up refugees from tyranny in California. But if you guys have to come to Texas, you
Yeah.
can plug your RV in here. And if
That's
the grid's
amazing.
down, you can still charge it. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
too.
And you can
Or
charge
you
your
can
whole
get
house
an
with your
RV,
car.
or you can get an RV with solar panels.
True. Look at that. Thinking ahead.
It's true, but what if it's cloudy?
What if it's cloudy?
And I mean,
Then-
Will,
then-
you have, what's that, Vic?
The car actually recharges the battery as well. So as I'm
Right.
running the RV, this is the Winnebago Echo RV.
Mhm.
As we're running the car, it is charging the battery as well.
Yeah, the trailer. So I have a trailer. You have a motor coach, basically motor home, and I have a camper trailer, which I trail it behind the truck. And yeah, when you plug it in to the vehicle, it's charging too. Yeah.
Yeah, your truck too. You know, you have one of the new ones that has a generator in it. So
Yes.
even if you needed to power something when you were out off of like in the land, you could do
That's-
that. And I know Bix too, you're gonna get one of those soon.
The prepper truck.
I was drooling on Will's truck with a 7 kilowatt generator built into the truck, and I said, I'm not going to let him get one and me not get one. too.
Normally I follow.
I got one on order.
Normally I'm always the one buying your car. I followed you and got the Forerunner.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Another one. I don't know. Maybe not. Tesla.
Yeah, the Tesla.
Yeah, the F-150 hybrid is awesome because it still runs, you don't plug it in. It still runs off gas, but you get 25 miles to the gallon, and it's got a built-in generator that you can power.
Mine has a 30-gallon tank.
Really?
I think it's a bigger tank. The new one has a bigger tank. I can go like 900 miles or something.
Wow.
crazy.
Yeah, mine's like 700. Wow, that's crazy.
It's got like one
You should
point.
tell
One up me there, didn't you?
Yeah, seriously. His has
Well,
a whole-
I've got 5-gallon, gas tanks in the garage, so I'll just throw a few in the bed.
There you go.
You're set.
So this is I think it's a very appropriate time to talk about prepping, and I think everybody on the road to Ruta should be considering prepping and financial prepping as well. And that's why we have guys like Will Lehr.
Yeah,
Hey, guys.
absolutely. Can we talk a little bit about that?
Yeah, Will, tell us the current standing of self-directed IRAs and why they are so great. to have.
Well, so shortly after my red pill experience, and I was working in insurance and financial services and a financial advisor, and I was like, oh, this is all totally toxic garbage. It's like thankful for the 1.5 years of studying and all the series licenses and all that. Anyway, I got out of that, but coming from a finance lens, didn't know about Bitcoin at the time. So it was precious metals were the only thing what else could you buy right now? A farm, some cattle. Anyway, we learned about this we were in the metal space, and we had a lot of clients that were closing out their IRAs, taking the tax hit just to get it into metal, physical metal. And then we learned of this IRA, the self-directed IRA that lets you control the account, lets you control the assets and where they're stored. And you can invest in any asset out there, from metals. It works for cryptos too. It works for land. It works for, all the above, stocks even. So we've been setting those up for clients for about 10 years now, 8 years now, and helping people get out of the system, or at least some form out of it, and exposure to physical assets, mostly metals, cryptos, and land, really, private equity.
And that the way that Will and his companies do set it up is that you are the one in control of your assets. You hold your metals, it's still in the IRA. You don't have any withdrawal penalties or anything like that. You do a rollover into a self-directed IRA, and then you get to control the metal or the cryptos or whatever asset you invest in, stocks, bonds, whatever it is. You are the manager of that LLC. So you are the one, if the shit falls apart, you are the one holding the asset at the end of the day. It's so important to have that, as opposed to somebody else holding your metal in your retirement fund or somebody else holding your cryptos. You don't want anybody holding anything right now. It's up to you to take responsibility for your own assets. And that means learning about cryptos and holding them, learning about silver and holding it. Will does both. They can buy cryptos for you. They can buy silver. They can buy gold for you. Definitely give Will and Gus a call or an email. Go to perpetualassets.com. And so many people from the road to Ruta. believe how wonderful it was for me to get hooked up with Will and offer this to so many Road to Ruta people, because we have so many people that have done that and now have the security of holding their own assets in their own hand for their retirement. And it's a monster. Or for not retirement. You don't need, it doesn't need to be, they're licensed to get all the physical gold and silver you want, or cryptos. They can walk you through that process. I think cryptos is 10,000 minimum.
Yes, on a crypto trade, yes.
So, but they'll help you out and get you into a wallet and all that stuff. So perpetualassets.com right now, go in there, perpetualassets.com.
Absolutely. Go check them out. We also have an affiliate page for them on the website. If you're there, if you're checking it out, if you're watching this video on the website, you can see it there. And yeah, like Bix said, Will and Gus have helped so many of our followers really get in line with one of the most fundamental principles of the Road to Ruta, which is getting all of your assets in your own possession and getting prepared for what's to come in the financial world. So, you know, thank you, Will, for all of the work you've done to help people. And Bix, thank you for shining the light for so many people and leading them there. So
I disappeared.
So I guess, you know, to that note, is there anything else you want to say about financial preparedness or just preparedness in general before we end this?
No, just, you know, you're better off doing it sooner rather than later, especially with the supply crunch right now. And those of you who have prepped for a long time, go through your preparations and give it a once through, and, you know, find some stuff that is probably expired and just replenish that stuff.
Yeah, it's there's a big spectrum in the prepping space, right? And I've had you know, a lot of prepper clients over the years, you know, all over the spectrum, including ones that are totally self-sufficient, living on land, you know, and ones that are, you know, functioning in society, maybe even living in the city, whatever, and trying to do everybody that becomes aware of what's going on and finds themselves having to prepare in some way has to assess all those different risks. And yeah, it's a big old, there's a lot of variables out there right now as far as like what could go down, you know? So it's kind of different for every person. I think you kind of have to assess what makes the most sense for you. Like when I took the red pill and had a newborn at the house, and, you know, it didn't really make sense for me to like run off into the woods and go build a compound and start growing potatoes or whatever.
Which is what he's done now, basically.
Ish. I mean, you know, I still have one toe in society, maybe even several toes. So anyway, it's different for every person. So
that's absolutely true. You know, for me, I definitely feel like the preparations I have living in the middle of a big city compared to you guys who have made yourselves a little bit more remote, we'll have slightly different plans, but in all, the mentality of being prepared is something we all share and all have in common. And so, you know, for you Road to Ruta followers, there's a lot of good resources out there. One of the ones that I've been using a lot lately is there's a guy named JP Sears who also lives in Texas, who does a lot of content, and he's got an amazing prepared prepper list that I'll keep in the description of this video or, you know, underneath it. And so check that out. Check out our affiliates page. Having the right financial security, you know, you're the correct nutritional things that we might need going into something like a pandemic, like C60 is something good to have. And, you know, all the other things that we have in our Amazon store, check them out, because those will all help you get through whatever craziness is on our way.
And you can get ammo now. Ammo was like, it worked out perfectly for me. The prices came down and the availability is there. So
where's it from? Ammo from China probably doesn't work.
Oh,
Heresy.
It
blows up on you. So when the Chinese invade, you're gonna shoot your gun and it's gonna blow up. Let's end the discussion. Josh, awesome stuff. Love talking about this. What else on the horizon for Road to Ruta these days?
Well, there are a lot of things on the horizon. Beyond this prepper conversation, which I'm loving, and thank you guys so much for having with me. We do have some news coming up. We have and this is the first time, we're not even gonna talk about it. It's gonna come.
Not talking about it yet.
It's gonna come in the next video.
Lots in the works at Road to Ruta.
Be ready. There's some great things in the works that I think all of you guys are gonna love. Be really excited about some new stuff for the Road to Ruta in general. And so be on the lookout for that. But anyway, guys, thanks for taking the time out of your day to come talk to me about something that I love talking about, being prepared, getting ready for this. And so we'll leave it at that. Thank you guys so much. And I'm sure we'll have more conversations into the future. So thank you. And we'll catch you guys next time.
All right. Thanks, Josh.
See you, buddy.